Dear students, wish you a very good day. Today we are going to do the fourth chapter of Footprints Without Fate, a question of trust by Victor Canning. Victor Canning was a famous English writer of novels and thrillers. His thrillers are famous for their romance, mystery, and unexpected and highly thrilling ending. The theme of the chapter, A Question of Trust, is that you should not trust anyone without finding out about that person. It is said that you must set a thief to catch a thief, but it is also said that there is honor among thieves. We have to find out which saying does the story illustrate. The story revolves around two burglars who want to rob the same safe. The name of the first burglar is Horace Dunby. I am reading the first paragraph of the chapter. Everyone thought that Horace Dunby was a good, honest citizen. He was about 50 years old and unmarried, and he lived with a housekeeper who worried over his health. In fact, he was usually very well and happy, except for the attacks of hay fever in summer. He made locks and was successful enough at his business to have two helpers. Yes, Horace Dunby was good and respectable, but not completely honest. So, what information we are getting about Horace Dunby from this paragraph? First, he was a good and honest citizen. Second, he was 50 years old and unmarried. He lived with a housekeeper who worried over his health. He was well and happy except for the attacks of hay fever in summer. We also get information about his occupation. He was a locksmith and very successful in his business. He had two helpers in his business. Thus, we can say that he was a good and respectable person. But from the story, you will get to know that he was not completely honest. 15 years ago, once he was sentenced and put in a prison library. He was lover of a rare and expensive books, so once in a year he used to rob a safe and stole enough to last for 12 months, and with that money he used to purchase books through an agent. One afternoon in the month of July, he was walking and thinking that this year also the robbery was going to be successful, because for 2 weeks he had been studying the house at Shotover Grange. He had been studying its rooms, its electric wiring, its paths, and the gardens. The family of that house had been staying in London, and the two servants who had been staying there had gone to the movies that afternoon. Horace saw them go. He had a little tickle of hay fever in his nose. Still, he felt happy. He came out from behind the garden wall. He was carrying all his tools carefully packed in a bag on his back. He knew about the amount of jewelry in the Grange safe. They were about 15,000 pounds worth. He expected that he would get at least 5,000 pounds. That would be enough to make him happy for another year. He would be able to purchase the three very interesting books coming up for sale in the autumn. He has seen the housekeeper hang the key to the kitchen door on a hook outside. He was very careful not to leave fingerprints. That is why he put on a pair of gloves, took the key and opened the door. It was no problem for him to tackle the dog. He knew that you have to call a dog with its right name and show them love if you want to be friendly with him. Horace called him with his name Sherry as he passed. He had come to know about the location of the safe in the house from an article published in a magazine. It was in the drawing room behind a rather poor painting. He was getting attracted towards paintings rather than books, but he thought the painting was too big to be accommodated in his house, so he left the thought. His nose was tickling with the smell of the flowers kept there. He gave a little sneeze and then put down his bag. He was relaxed as he knew that he had 4 hours in his hand before the servants returned. It was not very difficult for him to open the safe because he himself was a locksmith. The burglar alarm was also poorly built. He cut its wire. Horace wondered how foolish people are when they own valuable things. In the magazine, there was the full description of the house. Even it was also mentioned where the safe was. For Horace, there was no problem except that of the flowers, and those flowers were hindering him in his work. He buried his face in his handkerchief. When he sneezed, he heard a voice say from the doorway, "What is it? A cold or hay fever?" He answered, "Hay fever," and sneezed again. The voice advised him to find out what plants gave him the disease and go to a doctor for the treatment of it. The voice also told that she had heard him from the top of the house just then. Now I think you would be able to answer these questions. What does Horace Denby like to collect? He liked to collect the rare and expensive books. Second question given in the NCERT book is, why does he steal every year? As Horace was good and respectable, so he stole only once in a year, and that also to purchase rare and expensive books. Now from the further part of the story, we will try to find out who is speaking to Horace Denby and who is the real culprit in the story. It was the voice of a young pretty woman dressed in red who was quiet and firm, and Sherry was also friendly with her. She was confident in her behavior. She presented herself as the mistress of the house. She told that Horace must have been thinking that she had been away for a month. But she had come back just in time and had not expected to meet a burglar. She was very amusing in her behavior. This aroused a hope in his mind that he might avoid trouble if he treated her in the right way. Horace told the lady that he had not expected that he would meet anyone of the family. She wanted to know what he would do then. Horace replied that he would run away. The lady told that she would call the police. On this, Horace told that he would cut telephone wires. The lady warned him that he could not do anything of that sort. The lady told him that his behavior hurt her. Horace told that he did not intend to hurt her, he only wanted to frighten her. But the lady told that she was not frightened. Horace requested her that she should forget that she had seen him and allow him to go. The lady became sharp in her tone and told him that he had been going to rob her. So how was it possible that she should forget? She told him if she allowed him to go, he would rob someone else, so society must be protected from the men like him. He told her that he was not that sort of a robber who was a threat to the society. He robbed only to fulfill his passion of reading good and rare books. And he also stole from those who had a lot of money, that also once in a year. He hated the thought of going to the prison. The lady picked up a cigarette from the silver box. Horace was eager to please her, and seeing that she might help him took off his gloves and gave her his cigarette lighter and requested her to let him go. The lady put a condition before him. The condition was to break the lock of the safe because she had forgotten the number of the lock, and she wanted to wear the jewelry from the safe. She also assured that he needed not to be worried about her husband because he won't be there for a month, and she should have the safe mended by that time. Within an hour, Horace opened the safe, gave her all the jewels, and went happily away. For 2 days, he kept his promise to the young lady not to rob any more. But on the 3rd day, he thought about the books he wanted. He planned to rob any other safe, but he did not get a chance. He was arrested by the police for the jewel robbery at the Shotover Grange. He had left his fingerprints all over, so nobody believed him when he said that the wife of the owner of the house had asked him to open the safe for her. The real wife was a 60-year-old lady with grey hair and a sharp tongue. She told that the story told by him was a nonsense. Now again, Horace was in prison. He was the assistant librarian in the prison. While working in the prison, he often thought of the young lady who was in the same profession and who tricked him. Now he did not believe in honor among thieves. Now you must have got the answer who the lady was. The lady was also the burglar. He was also in the same profession in which Horace Dunbar was. And who was the real culprit in the story? The lady herself was the real culprit in the story. Horace Dunbar was not unduly punished. He deserved what he got. A crime is a crime, no matter it is committed 100 times or just once. The story also proves that ends do not justify means. This is a very old and time-tested saying, for own benefit, nobody should harm others. So this is the theme of the story, and I think that the story is clear to you. If you like the explanation, please press the like button. If you are new on the channel, subscribe it and also press the notification bell on to get the latest updates. For practice question, you can check the description box. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.